Rhythm with a touch of the blues and the spiritual, and a composition called Well. The soloist, George Bohannon, with Ernie Watts, and George Bohannon, the vocalist, is narrating this along with his trombone, Ernie Watts on tenor saxophone. And all of this ties to the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, just across the river from us. And George Bohannon is with us. He's a part of the Gospel at Colonus, and he's just come off stage after a night's performance, an exciting show. And George is one of the artists behind the scenes, in a sense, since all the action takes place in a kind of a U-shaped parameter. Good evening, George. How are you?
I'm great. Leigh, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, and it's good to have you after the ball, after the show is over.
Well, it's been a long day, but it's been a great day.
2 shows today.
Yeah, 2 shows here at Colonus.
And you, as a participant in this show, have a very special vantage point. I can remember looking at you out of the corner of my eye. You're somewhat on the tailgate side, on the trombone, and you have a special role in this. You and the musicians against the choir and the narrators and the characters. What's your vantage point revealed to you?
Well, I have often said that being in the band is the best seat in the house. First of all, you get a chance to really know what it's about. You know the strengths, you know the weaknesses. But in this case, there's a particular good feeling that I get because the whole setting of this Gospel at Colonus is a church setting, and my introduction to music was in a church setting, so it has a special place in my heart.
So that significance begins when you were very young.
Very young, 8 years old, matter of fact.
And in what city?
In Detroit, Michigan.
Which has produced such a great quantity of high-caliber musicians.
Yeah, it's an excellent town, especially for jazz, and it always was, and I think it always will be, because even now there's some guys there that are relatively unheard of, but excellent musicians.
Well, it seems to me that someone must write a book about Detroit jazz. There isn't one out there.
Yeah, maybe that's a project for me, huh?
Would you assume that responsibility and get that manuscript going?
It's something to think about, because I'm telling you, Detroit has been such a melting pot, as you said. Even people come to mind like Donald Byrd, who we shared time at Cass Tech High School in Detroit, and Kenny Burrell, is Yusef Lateef,
Tommy Flanagan,
and all of the Jones, Elvin and Thad, and all, they were actually Pontiac, Michigan, which is a suburb, and it was a great place to grow up, and not to mention then getting into the Motown and things like that, which just gave a little bit more variety to the town, you know?
Well, certainly, too, I can think of a band like Todd Rhodes, who was very popular at one time.
My goodness, yeah, that takes me way back.
Well, Cass Tech, you mentioned, is an important school in the high school level on the scene, because I can think of Jerry Allen, who has just completed her night's engagement at the Walker just across from you, who comes from Cass Tech.
Oh, yeah. Cass Tech was a special school. I think Cass, actually, the music program there was almost as extensive as, I would say, the first couple of years in the university. It was very good. They always had excellent instructors. You could specialize. They had the people there that could really help you get in whatever direction you want to take in music. They had someone there who was really qualified to help you. And, oh man, I don't know if any place has been any more important in my life than Cass Tech.
And then you went on to Wayne University, too.
Wayne University, that was before it was Wayne State. And there also, Kenny Burrell and I were there just about the same time. And it was a great place to grow up. I also finished my studies at the Detroit Institute of Musical Arts, which was, I mean, it just goes on and on, the kinds of training that's available there in Detroit.
Well, certainly for you, it is a memorable experience. Most of the time now, you spend your energies on the Los Angeles scene, which is mystique all of its own.
Yeah, I've been, matter of fact, I moved to Los Angeles in 1968. I mean, that was when I moved there to live. I had visited several times prior to that, but 1968 I went there, and wow, what a series of events happened there. I mean, I really just happened at a good time, and the studios were wide open for me, and oh man, many good things happened. I think in Los Angeles it was where I really got a chance to work with all of the musicians that I'd always admired. You know, people like J.J. Johnson, who had moved there, then Kay Winding, and there was Quincy Jones, and also people like, oh my goodness, I can go on and on. Most of the favorites of mine who had seemingly had left New York then and moved to Los Angeles, so it was a perfect time for me. And then I began to work several studio things, and it's been a great experience to be in Los Angeles for sure.
What is the particular stimulus for you, the kind of stimulus that you need, that gets you going, get your, say, compositional juices going, or your improvisational juices as an instrumentalist?
Well,
what kicks it off?
I probably think that one of the strongest things in my life at this point is my family. I am a family man. I got some great kids. I got a lovely wife, and those are the biggest motivation at this time. I mean, most of the compositions I've written in the last few years were because of them, and they are a constant source of motivation. So I'm real fortunate to have a great family.
Well, George, to catch you off stage at the Guthrie Theater and talk with you is a privilege. We're just making our acquaintance here, and I hope we can track it further.
Leigh, I'm going to make a point too. I appreciate you giving me this time because, you know, I just like I'm sure there's some friends of mine out there in the audience somewhere that I don't know that are in this town, and they don't know that I'm here. So perhaps this will help us to somehow get back together. But I appreciate the opportunity.
And we'll see you on stage at the Guthrie Theater in that marvelous production of the Gospel at Colonus.
Thank you so much.
I've been talking with George Bohannon, composer, publisher, trombonist, baritone horn specialist, and vocalist, and he is currently appearing on stage at the Guthrie.